Hello everyone and welcome back to the 3T Path channel. My name is Giridhari, and today I want to read to you a beautiful verse from Bhagavad-gita, verse 3 of chapter 5, which shows us a completely different way of living from what we're used to do, from what we were taught to do from society and usually our parents. This will give us a new vision of life, which is the Bhagavad-gita is trying to show us the path of living this life in a completely different state of mind. So let's first read the Sanskrit, and then we'll read the translation, and then we'll explain it. So the verse goes like this. Jñeyaḥ nityasaṁnyāsī yo na dveṣṭi na kāṅkṣati nirdvaṁdvo mahābāho sukhaṁ bandhāt pramucyate. So again, this is verse 3 of chapter 5, and the translation from the book The Bhagavad-gita Comes Alive by Armstrong goes like this. One who neither hates nor lusts after matter and is indifferent to both sukha and dukha. We'll be leaving some Sanskrit terms here and I'll come back to them. And is indifferent to both sukha and dukha, is known to have permanently dissociated his Atma from prakriti, and thus becomes free from all forms of material bondage. So let's go back to it and work on these terms. It's very good, actually. You know, sometimes translating certain terms is more trouble. It confuses more than it helps. In the beginning, it's like, oh no, just give me everything in English. But there are lots of terms like you really shouldn't translate because there is no good translation for them. It's better just to keep them in their original Sanskrit. So I like this translation by Armstrong because he does that a lot. So let's go back here now. One who neither hates nor lusts after matter. So that's very good. It's a key yoga mentality that's always taught in Bhagavad-gita, Yoga Sutras, is be careful that there's two opposites of, hating something and then lusting after, like really wanting it. Sometimes it's translating as love, but love is like a nice word, so people get confused. So lust is better, like just really wanting something. So neither hating nor lusting after, not really wanting it either. And so the difference is you don't want one thing or the other because they're both the two sides of the same coin. So there's always this, the yoga philosophy alerts us, look, your mind, hatred or, lusting, again, like really wanting something, it's the same thing, it's the same energy. It's going to involve your mind, it's going to lock your mind down into that material thing, and you're going to be trapped there and suffer all the consequences from it. Whether if it's hating or lusting after it, they're both going to give you different sets of problems. So we don't want either thing, neither one thing nor the other. And is indifferent to both. So the key word is indifferent. That's where indifference comes from. A lot of people get confused with non-attachment and indifference. And here is where it's different. We will practice indifference when it comes to observing the states of our mind, emotions and desires. With that, we want to be indifferent with our own mind when we're observing our mind and the fluctuations of the mind. We don't want to be attached to either hating or lusting. We want to be indifferent. Non-attachment is not being indifferent. We talked about this in another video. It's not the topic of this video, but non-attachment is when you will be focusing on the action and not the result, but you're fully focused. You're doing it with interest, with love, with attention. And you're doing it, you're putting your energy into it, your love into it. So it's got nothing to do with indifference. Okay, so you neither hate nor lust after matter, and you're indifferent to both sukha and dukha. So sukha and dukha, there's key words used a lot in yoga. Sukha would be pleasure and dukha suffering. But specifically, more focused on material pleasure and material suffering. So sukha and dukha. Krishna uses sukha and dukha a lot in the Bhagavad-gita because that's what we're doing, right? The whole material life is this roller coaster ride of sukha and dukha. So it's like, oh, this is so good. Oh, I hate this so much. Oh, this is so good. I hate this so much. And this is silly sukha dukha roller coaster ride, which we do life after life. So you're indifferent to both sukha and dukha. You're no longer like, oh, now it's sukha. This is great. Oh no, this is dukha. This is lamenting. This is so terrible. You just like, okay, whatever, this is the way life is. Sometimes it's pleasurable, sometimes it's not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because I've got something else going on here. What is that? That person is known to have permanently disassociated their Atma, which is translated as soul, but soul doesn't quite get it, Atma, from prakriti. So another two sets of very important yogic, Vedic, Sanskrit terms here for you. Atma and prakriti, very important. These are like super important terms. It's better not to translate. So Atma, yeah, sure, it's translated as soul, but it's really different because, in normal usage of the word soul in English language, we talk about my soul. Oh, he has a beautiful soul, and his soul lovers. You talk about something that you might have, but Atma really is you. Atma is the real you, and your body is just the vehicle you have entered. So it's like you have a car, and then you enter into your car, and you're not the car. You're just the person who's entered the car and is driving it. So that's what the Atma is. The Atma is the person who has entered this vehicle. This is a vehicle made of matter. Krishna uses this term in the 18th chapter. So this is a vehicle, and the Atma is the person. Because some people say soul, and they don't understand. Like they think of as an energy. They talk about my soul, but you don't say my Atma. Because you are Atma. It's my body. It's the Atma's body. You can say my body, but you don't say my Atma. So Atma is really the person, the thinking, willing, feeling, a transcendental person. That's Atma. Everything else doesn't think, feel, or decide anything. Like, matter and prakriti, which is matter, material, that's the stuff without consciousness, the unconscious stuff. No thinking, willing, or feeling in there. Only in the Atma, that is a transcendental quality that's brought into matter when you incarnate into a body. So, in that state of being, so what happens is now the Atma has permanently disassociated itself from prakriti. Now the Atma is living in its true nature. That's what the Bhagavad-gita is inviting you to do. And thus becomes free from all forms of material bondage. This is great. Bhagavad-gita is amazing. Like when you start taking it apart and you understand it, it's just wonderful. And your hairs will stand on end as you study, Bhagavad-gita. It's so wonderful. So then you will now become free of all material bondage because you're living your true self. And that's why, because you're focused on your true transcendental existence, that's why you neither hate nor lust after any material thing, anything in matter. That's why you become indifferent to sukha and dukha, because you're actually experiencing ananda, bliss. You're experiencing bliss despite the roller coaster of karma. Despite oh, this is a sukha moment, this is a dukha moment, but you're like, I'm not even there, I'm doing my thing here. I'm the observer. I'm in ananda. That is my true nature, Satchit Ananda. I'm experiencing bliss. I'm in the bliss of spiritual life. Even though, I just got a flat tire, even though I just found out that I'm being cheated, by, somebody stole my credit card information, but I'm still I'm in bliss. I've got my own bliss going on here, despite the sukhas and dukhas of material life. So, wonderful verse. Let me know if you enjoyed that, if you have any questions, and have a rest of your day with lots of peace and lots of love.